to another amazing day at fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all. I am here with the wonderful Nick Hunter and Ken Tooley. Nick is a wonderful senior engineer that we've had on for many years who has covered many, many topics with us in the stream, including a variety of, frankly, really brain derailing, a variety of really UI especially, a lot of really cool topics. I'm cycling because there's literally so much that he has done for our stream that I can't possibly hope to list it off. So if you go back through all of our records on YouTube, etc., you'll find a whole slew of stuff. We're currently working on a really cool series, which I will bring up right now with the assistance of Ken Tooley. We are working on the existing FileMaker File Design and Modernization Workshop 23 and day 24. So basically, Nick is taking a file and renovating it live, so you get to see what it's like, basically to take a FileMaker file and work on it from the bottom up when you're doing a renovation, including UI and a whole variety of other really cool things. If you'd like to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. We have our FM Training annual subscription bundles, which is great for, frankly, beginning, intermediate, and advanced FileMaker developers. There's 3 options. We cover a huge and wide variety of topics. If you're like, oh, I really know everything about FileMaker, but I haven't made a FileMaker server in like 3 years. We have an entire course on setting up your own FileMaker server. If you're like, man, I really know everything back to back about, building layouts and doing like really basic FileMaker stuff, but I'm really worried about relationships, etc. We talk about that. We talk about pretty much every little topic in FileMaker that you need to build your own file. So please pick that up. If you happen to feel like, oh man, I need that sort of assistance, or if you're like, man, these live streams meander on for an hour, it's got like so many questions and conversations. Well, these videos are like 5 to 20 minutes, I would say, really bite-sized, highly animated content that covers the whole topic concisely, neatly, and then it's done. Thank you everyone who has supported the channel doing this. It greatly helps us do this 5 days a week. With that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Nick. Nick, what are we doing today?
Hello, Marge. Hello, everybody. Hello, Ken, for joining today. So, hello, everybody in the audience and everybody that will watch this video in the future. So welcome. And so today we continue this series. So we continue working on that file, and we're getting better and better. So we rebuild it, and now we add functionalities, and we change functionalities. Can come with ideas, and we build it, and we do that all live every day. So this webinar, this series, I like it because, and obviously I think people like it too because they can see a building process. So we take something, we have a challenge, we have things to do, we use different techniques. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes I have problems, sometimes I have challenges. So it's not, it's not just sitting and and build stuff, right? Pre-build, right? Explaining things. So we build in front of you. So that I want to say, I'm not preparing anything for that. I come and I build, right? So, and then you can see how we use the tool, how we use the inspectors and all the tricks and all the things we have and we get over the year as we build things, right? So we get habits, and we discover shortcuts, and we discover ways to save time. And so I share that with you, right? So that's great, because you learn more than just one technique or another. You learn a whole process, right? So today we're going to continue to work on this. So yesterday, so let me share my screen right quick. Yesterday, Ken said, okay, we have documents like this, so we build this, right? And Ken came and said, oh, yeah, but I have different options. I have different things that I want to enter depending on the document type. So some document type you have fields, and those other you have others. So as you click on the document type, you want things to be different on that side, right? So and there's a way to do that, right? So we can keep the same construction of, as I repeat, instead of having multiple containers, one container for each document, we have one table, one container, multiple records, right? And we have additional fields along with the document, right? And we add this in the document table. So the document table can accommodate multiple fields depending on what we need for each type of documents, right? And it can be many things. We can add as many fields we want in that document table, but they are in the document table, right? So so yesterday, so we built this and we added some validity of documents, right? And Ken said, yeah, but sometimes we need dates, for example, right? And we don't need a date in another document. So what you don't want to have, you don't want to display things that doesn't belong, that don't belong to what it is, right? So if you need a field or fields for one type of documents and you don't need that for another type of document, don't show up all time. You show this all only when it needs, right? So, and to do that, I have a technique, my favorite techniques, right? I don't like the hiding things because most of the time when you hide things, you have blanks, you have white, you have a white space, right, in the middle, and it doesn't look good. And and I don't want to have a very complicated grouped up objects and hiding, showing, and stuff like that. So we have another way to do that, right? So the way we do this, right, is that in that side, right here, we add a slide control. Okay, so you understand, and you understood that for many years now that I'm heavily using slide control. Why? Because they're cool, you know. So and why they're cool? Because they call slide control, but they could have called that panels, right? Because it is a slide control for sure, but it can be used for many other things, right? So, and they are fully transparent, right? So let me show you this. Okay, so if I build, maybe I still have it, the layout. Yeah, I have it. So see here we have slide control, right? And but I want to explain a little bit about the slide control, right? And so how it works, because it's interesting. So this is a typical slide control. We have dots here, right? That we can get bigger if we want, right? So we have our interesting controls here in the state here. We can get more space, right? So this is not an available space, but it's part of so you can use a panel here to increase the space here. You can increase the space on the top, the here, right? And the padding, right? So you can add padding around here, but you can use this. So this is the dots that the control to go to one panel to another, right? So this is the natural way. And of course, you can change the dot color, right? So you can have a lot of interaction with this, right? So this is how you show up the what's the name? The buttons, right? And then we have the swipe gestures. So that is interesting because it's not the slide control is something that Claris invented mainly to be used on FileMaker Go, for the touch, right? But also it works. Okay, if you use a device like I have here, it's a touch mouse, right? You can use the gesture as well as a trackpad on a laptop and the magic mouse or whatever touch mouse that you can buy in the market, and you can have the gesture like this. I'm moving, so let's have an object here, then we can see what's going on. So let's say I have this object here. Let's put some green here, gray, right? And let's put another oval here. Oh, okay. So, and let's put another object here, like a piece of text. Okay. So when you have something like this, you can use the slide. See, it slides like this, right? I'm using the one finger on the trackpad, right, or the magic mouse, and you can slide like this. Okay. So the gesture is also available on the desktop, on the desktop computer. Okay. So, but also you can get rid of all of this, right? So you can hide the navigation dots and disable the swipe gestures, right? And put back the padding like this. Okay. So then you have a big a big space here, right? And you can navigate. So now when you hide the dots in the layout mode, if you want to go to one slide to another, you can use the tree, right? You can use the tree, or you can double click on the slide control, and here you can go and navigate to the panel with these arrows like this. And of course, you can add a panel with this plus, 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 and you add panels, right? So this also, the panel, the slide control like this, can also be controlled externally. So let's say I have a button here, okay? And I said slide number 2, for example, right? So I have a button here that says slide number 2. And here I have slides, I have slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. So those are names that you put here. You can put whatever name you want, right? But I name my slide, so I explained yesterday why I'm naming my slide like this. So I have slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, right? So I name them, right? As an object name inside here, right? Each panel can get a name, right? You cannot rename a panel itself, You cannot change the name of the panel, but of the objects, but you can change the name of the panels. Okay, so sorry for the confusion. You cannot rename the object itself, but you can rename the panels. So now that I have a name here, if I say here a single script step, and I say go to objects, and I said slide in the name of the object, right? So even though I'm positioned on panel number 1 here, I'm in panel number 1. If I click here, I'm going to the panel 2. Correct? See? So if I have another button here, and I said panel 1, so I have now the control to go to the panel 1, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So now you have another thing that you can add to the slide control. If you use what's the name? If you use our scripts. So here I have 2 scripts, right? 2 universal scripts. So we can use a script to go to the object, and we can add the animation. So for example, here, what's the name of the script? 002. Yeah. If I'm using a script, to go to the object, and in the parameter, I'm saying, okay, I want to go to the slide number 2 to number 1. And this one, the same, I'm using the scripts that I built, right? And I said slide 2, right? In the parameters. So I have one slide 1, and one slide 2, right? But I'm using a script, and within the script, so I'm saying go to object by the script parameter, right? But also here, I put in the scripts an object animation on. So that what does? It does this. So it shows you an animation, even though you're not using you're not using the gesture, right? You're not using the gesture like this. You're not. You use a button.
You're getting the gesture effect.
But you get the slide effects.
Yeah.
So that's cool because it adds to the comprehension of what's going on there. So sometimes I'm using it, sometimes I don't, and I'm going to explain how I'm using and when I'm using it and when I don't, right? I'm going to show you this. So of course I have two scripts here. I have one with animation and one without animation, right? So one animation, not animation. So okay, so I have two scripts. I could have put one script, but I didn't want to make it complicated. So I have script here, right? So you can say go to object and you can add additional options and go and refresh object, refresh border, whatever you want to do in this option, you know. So yeah, and the script like this, when you have options, right? You can have when the script is performed, right? You set the thing, you go to the object, right? And go to the object, and then you refresh, but it gets an error. So it's not a problem here, right? It will just pass the script step and, you know, right? So you don't need to track this. Yeah, you don't need to have a if, right? You don't need to have a if. You refresh if you find something in the parameter number 2 and the parameter number 3. If you find something else that is relevant, it will refresh the object or refresh the portal, right? But you know, but otherwise it will just pass through the, you know, it will pass through the script step and, you know, ignore it, right? But it won't block you. It won't even give you an error, right? So this is how pretty much the basis on the slide control. So why I'm using the slide control, okay, and not, you know, another object or whatever, it's because if I have object like this, so when you put something in the slide control, right, all object inside belongs to that object, right? So it's an embedding object. So I did that. I told you that also, I don't know, maybe three days ago, last week and stuff like this. So you have the popover. Also, the popover is, you know, it's an embedding object. That means if I put an object in the popover, this object inside the popover belongs to the popover, right? This is inside the popover. So you have popover that do this. You have the tab control as well. It's an embedding object. So if you have this, right, right, and if you put an object inside, this object belongs to the object, right? This object here, it's embedded inside the tab. And of course, we have our friend, the portal, right? That is, if you have something inside the row of the you know, of the portal, the object belongs to the portal, right? So it's inside. So embedding objects. So that's pretty much the object we have that do that, right? So that you put something inside a blob, it belongs inside like this. Those objects belongs inside the slide one, right? The slide one, okay? So so what the goodness out of this? So what's good out of this? It is good because I can hide this object, right? I can hide it. So I put a hide condition here. And I have one hidden condition, and I will be hiding everything inside. Everything inside now, all those objects will be hidden just by one calculation, because I'm hiding the object that contains all the object inside, right? So this is pretty much, yeah. So okay, so we'll learn about slide control today. You know about what I'm saying here, because I need to know, because I want to do a world webinar. So in the audience, we'll learn something here. When the audience.
Well, I think for me, it solidified some things. I knew a lot of those pieces, but to put it all together and call them, what did you call them? Embedded objects or things that, yeah.
Yeah. So what interesting me right now, what we're going to use right now, is this: the ability to control a panel by a go to object script step. This is what is interesting me, because I'm going to build something here. I have now in that layout, I have a slide control here. And in this one, I have another one, right? So this panel here belongs to the slide number 2, right? This slide belongs to this one, okay? So I can add slide into slide into slide into slide, you know, like a Russian doll, right? We can do that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so, and it doesn't feel bad, like if I were using tabs control, because I don't have this piece of bleep in the middle of the face, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have the tab itself, you know?
Right.
I don't have the tab. So I don't need to use crazy things, put the, you know, like we were doing in the past, you know, like putting that one and putting blanks to hide the tab or whatever, you know. We were using that, you know, tricks in the past, but we don't need now. So the slide control is a perfect object for this. Remember that I have here in that table, this is my reference table. This is where I have all the types. All my types belong here, okay? And in this table, I have put in a field for each record of each document type, I have put which slide I want to go when I select one. So here I have the first and here the second. So let me position the objects, right, correctly. So because I don't want the object to dance. See, they dance a little bit. So I think I need one more here, maybe one more.
And no music. How can they dance with no music?
Yeah, so they're not dancing anymore. Okay. So I have two perfect replicated objects. So here, if you see this panel, I have all those objects. And this panel, I have exactly the same objects. Okay. So I replicated both. But now I have all the freedom to do whatever I want. Right? Mm-hmm. So for example, here I'm going to, in the slide number 2, right? In this slide here, number 2. First of all, I need to name them. So I'm going to name them first. So how to name them? Okay. This slide belongs to this one. This one is a slide number 2. Right? So I'm naming this one, which is the first panel of the slide. I'm naming it slide number 2.1, and this one slide number 2.2. Why? Because this slide belongs to the slide number 2. So I want to tell in that name that I am here, I am in the slide number 2. And it is the second slide of this embedded, slide control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is, what I'm doing. So now I have the name, right? And you can see here, those names here are the same as I put here. So this name here, this slide number 2.1 here, this is the one I'm going to display when I'm selecting certificate front back and headshot and test. I have this one. The others, I'm going to use the second one. So this is the first one. So let's do the second one. So the second one now, I can modify this, right? So we need a date, right?
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to duplicate this object here, which is a date, and I'm going to put it here. Okay. And I'm going to use the date I want to use. So the date is the expiration date, right? So I'm going to type here expiration. Okay. I don't need to put date. I don't need, I'll tell you why. And expiration. So now I have an object and it needs to be like this. So I'm using stuff here. I'm using ways. I want to show you this because it's interesting. How to select object in FileMaker, right? It's interesting. We have two ways to select object in FileMaker. When I said, when you drag this, when you select, when you embrace something like this one, we have two ways to do that. The first way is a natural way. Every object you touch is selected. That's the natural way. When you click and you drag a marquee, this is a name, this is a marquee, okay? When you drag a marquee, all the object you touch is selected. Touch, and if I go there, boom, I'm touching the container, right? See? And then you have the other way with command on Mac and control on PC, right? All the objects that are, see, I'm touching now. So I have the control/command key pressed on my keyboard. Here I touch, and you see the marquee is different. This is white, this is black, white, black, white, black, white. Okay. So when I press Control or Alt or Command, I need to embrace completely the object to be selected. You need to be completely embraced. Normally it's a touch, but if I press Command, it's embraced, right? So when you have an object here, and you have many I cannot do this because look what happened. If I do this, look what happened. See? I select, okay. Yeah, I want to select this block. I press Command/Control and I do this. So if I don't press, I do this. If I press, I do this. This. See the difference? So if I want to select this object here, I will do this. If I want to select, I don't know, those objects here, but I don't want the background, for example, right? So I will do this. I don't have the background. If I do this, I have the background, So this is, I'll let you play with this, but I want to, explain to you that because I know that, it can help you, build things. Especially today that, we have many objects in the layout, right? Sometimes they are overlapping and they are, so it's a good way to, to know what's going on here, right? So now I have this expiration date here. Make sure. Okay. So I have expiration dates on the second slide. So the first slide, I don't have the expiration date. The second one, I have it. And you can see how it looks, right? So by the way, I can make it better because this name here. So I can make it better here, okay, to make sure that, okay.
I love the attention to the details down to the pixels.
Yeah, I have OCD. Like I tell my customer, I say, "Oh, sorry, I have OCDs. 1 pixel off, I cannot sleep at night." So it's I can't. I don't like it. It's. So now I have this, and you can see when the object moves, it goes away completely. So it feels natural.
Right.
And I don't have hidden object overlapping. I don't have any hidden states. I just have another slide control. So here it's easy. We just added a field. But if you have many differences, you still want the document to show up, but you want many different buttons, different options, different field, okay, you can do whatever you want because you have all this space is available to you. You can do whatever you want without touching this one. And you can add as many panels you want, right? Okay.
Right.
So now, so when I click here, right, I am selecting, when I click here, I am selecting a type, document type, right? So I'm selecting a document ID.
Which has a type, yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm selecting a document ID, correct? Okay. And here, right, I want to put here in that script here, when I click here, right, I want to go, right? So I want this to go to an object, right? So I want to I want, when I click here, right, I want to go to the object belongs to it. Okay. So how I'm doing this? Here, I am in the TO5A, correct? So this is a rare case where I'm going to use, right? So let's move this a little bit down here, to avoid to avoid having those on the side, right? By the way, I can just move this. Oh, by the way, the same options of selecting exist on the map: embraced or touched. Embraced, touched, embraced, touched, right? So we have the same on the map, okay? Because the map, believe it or not, is a FileMaker layout.
Makes sense.
They use the same piece of software they use for the display of layouts. That's the same. It's a layout. This, right? So here I'm using the T05A, and this is a rare case where I can have a second level, that goes to where the document types belongs. So here I am in documents. In documents, I have the document type. And the document type is nothing else than the ID of the value list item. So this ID here is what I'm using for the document type. So I can say this from the document here, from this T5A, I'm going to the value list item. So I can say T05A1, right? That is from documents to, right, the value list items, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ID value list item that I'm using, right?
Right.
So I'm going to this from the documents to the value list items, and I'm using that key, right? So now I have this relationship available to me. From here, I can go there. But you will say, oh, Nick, you said no. Yes, but I can do that, and I will explain why. From this table here, the pilot table. So I'm from here. Here? I'm here. From here, I will never display on the layout something from this table. Nothing. I will never display anything on the layout, right? So if you don't display the thing in the layout, you can have all the level you want because you don't display anything. Displaying on the layout, that will make the thing slow. But if you don't display on the layout, you don't care, most of the time. So why is this relationship for? I am in the T05A from pilot, right? So I am here now. So I go here, the polar is there. And from here, I want to get something from here. So that's why now, right? I can add here in my parameters. So here I have many parameters. The first parameters is the name of the field I need to update. Whatever I want to put in the field, right? Mm-hmm. This, I'm going to explain that later. And here, I have another one, right? And what this will be? It will be the number of the slide I need to go when I press this based on the value list items. I mean, I need to know in T05A1 the panel number. Right. When I select documents, right? Hmm? I am in a row. I am in a row in that portal. And this parameter will go from that row will go to the document table, will go to the value list table and pick up this number based on the record I am in at the moment I clicked it. That's the beauty of the parameters, is that when you use the parameters, you're sure that when you trigger a script from a button that is inside a polar row, you're sure to go and pick up the information that is related to that records you're in, clicking the row, right? Mm-hmm. So now I know where to go, right? So in that script now, I need to modify that script. So I'm going to explain the click 2, click 1. I'm going to explain that. But now, right, I want to go, right, to an object. So I'm going to the object, go to objects, and I'm going to pick the object, right? I'm going to pick the object from the parameter number 4, okay? Why? Because this script will return, this script returns parameters, but it could be the parameter number 5. So I'm going to explain to you all of this. When you build a script like this, which is it's a universal script. So so here I can add, oh, by the way, yes, when you want to add multiple lines in a comments and not adding for each line, adding something like this, which is not cool, but you want something like this, right? You add the carriage return with the control key. That add the carriage return inside the comments, right? That cool?
Yeah.
You knew that?
I got caught in that one time and didn't know how I got there to get back.
Okay. So now I can say this is a slide number. Okay. So here I have a script where it's going to get multiple parameters, right? So I'm sending to that script. The first parameter is always the target field name, the data I want to put inside the field, the script I want to launch, the script name I want to launch, the parameter of the scripts, if I have some, and the slide number. Okay. But here, so this is I'm sending parameter, but here I have, this is the first parameter. This is the second one. This is the third one, but I need a parameter here and it cannot be blank because this will never be a parameter. So it will never take the value, the first value, the second value, the third value. So if I do this, if I look for this, this is the value 1, this is the value 2, this is the value 3, but I want this to be value 5, right?
4, right?
Okay. So there's multiple ways to do that. I can add a carriage return, but now I have 2. And that's the problem, right?
Yep.
So we don't want that because now this is the value number 6. Okay. So this is what we do. You put this. You put a null indication. That means there's nothing. Null is nothing, right? You put this because this is optional, right? But my script needs to receive something. Even if it's optional, my script needs to receive something. Otherwise, it won't understand, right? So I know, okay, people use the JSON, the JSON format, the JSON, what's the name? Get element or set elements, right? But it's nah.
And then you have the value pair.
It's a little bit complex for that. Okay, so I prefer to use the values, right? It's more simple. I know that I need to send, I need to put here a blank value, but blank doesn't exist in FileMaker. In the computer doesn't like blank. No, they don't. So I'm using this. I'm putting null. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one is the 5th function, is the 5th parameter. So that script here will receive, okay, the first value is using here, the second value is used here, the third value is used here, the fourth value is, used here, and I have the 5th value used here, right? So now let's try. All right. So we say that the certificate fronts, so the medical here, right? Here is the certificate front go to the, and this here I'm going to this, it should go to the second one, but okay, hold on. Since I modified, okay. Okay, so it doesn't go to the objects. So let's go go to the object number 5. So I'm going to see what's going on here. So the get parameter value 5 is empty. So I have nothing here, right? So it doesn't. So let's see what the get script parameter looks like. Okay. Why didn't validate my? Did I? Oh, I know why. Sorry. I have 2 buttons here. So I have the active and inactive one. So I need to put that on both.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's okay. Let's.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I have 2 buttons here, one gray. So let's just put. It's the same script, So
Those parameters seem like they had empty parentheses or quotes in them versus no. Did I miss that as it went by?
still doing the same thing.
I think we lost the null in there.
I lost it.
I think.
Yeah. I didn't validate this. Yeah. So let's go to the other one. Yeah. Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, we lost the null, left the quotes, which you showed us didn't work.
Yeah. So, sorry for that. Yeah. I'm going to show you the double click. So now, when I go there, I have the expiration date. But if I'm here,
Didn't be yeah,
here,
right.
I have it. Right?
Yeah.
But here, I don't have it. Here, I have it. Here, I have it. Here, I don't have it. Right?
Right.
Okay. So we're good. So it does the job. That means I click here and I'm saying go to the object. Here I have it go to an object here. Boom. Right? It goes to the object. If I click here, it does this, boom, 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 and it goes to the object.
To the other object.
Right? But here we have a problem. I have 2 versions of the same button, okay? Which is okay. I have this button here, and I have this button here. But the names here, I cannot have 2. If I have 2 objects, this button here is button valid 1, and this is button valid 0, okay? On the other slide, I have the same object, so of course I cannot have the same name, so, okay, you rename this, right? So you say, like this, underscore 1, like this, right? So this, you have this name here, and here you have, underscore 1, 0, 2. So here we have the 1, and here you have 0, 2. The 0, sorry. You have this and this, right? I have 2 underscore here, I think. Yeah. So like this. So I added, before the name, I added an underscore 1, underscore 1, underscore 1, underscore 0, okay?
Like in slide 1, setting the valid 1 or 0.
Yeah, I just add the name, yeah. So here, I need to accommodate this, right? So I'm doing this. So now in the validation name of the field of the name of the object, in the validation of the name, I added this underscore 1, which is the same for both name, right? So both are the same. Button valid underscore 1 underscore and the 0, right? Here I have button valid underscore 1, right? So now this validation will work the same, and I have 2 versions of the same button. Okay. So it works here, 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 here. So now this button works. Okay. It's not broken because I demonstrated yesterday that you validate the name, you put the active segments states, the active state, you can control it by calculation based on the name of the object, right? Yeah. So here, don't understand. So what you don't understand, David? We have a conversation here.
We were talking about the multiple lines in the comment field.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that multiple line in the comment field? Yeah.
I think that's what that conversation was about.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's I don't, I like the comments that to be when you have a comment and you can add whatever you want here instead of having people because it's you can move
Comments
it
on 3,
easily.
4, 5, 6. So
Yeah, you can move it easily and it's okay. And sometime what I'm doing, I'm picking a piece of text from the web or whatever, right? And then I paste it inside the comments, right? Like sometime I'm getting a description from the web and a copy from the web and I paste here and it comes, in
it's one line of comments, even though there's multiple embedded lines.
And I don't like because otherwise, if you do something like this, you end up having go to the line 355 on the script, right? So I don't want that, because the line, the line number is, I'm communicating to many people when I build something. I have pretty much my client, or something like this. So, and I say, okay, go to the line 12 of the scripts, right? Or go to the line 11. So remove the line 11. So we don't want that number to be big. So it's okay. It's a preference. Do whatever you want. It's my preference. I'm communicating my preference based on observation and based on the experience, right? So now I can control whatever I want to display, right? Based on the type. So, it could be on the type, it could be on anything, right? So pick your what you want, right? I use the type because this is where that's what we make the change, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I could have used other thing, right? So do we have any questions so far? Because
does Nick prefer to use hide instead of conditional formatting because of performance?
No, conditional formatting is okay. I use hide when I need to hide something, but yes, sometime for this. Oh, you talk about this? Yeah, okay. You talk about this button. So I have a hidden condition for that button and another one for that. So I have two hidden conditions. So I have two buttons, right? But I don't want the conditional formatting because I cannot use it. Why? Conditional formatting has limitations, right? And first of all, okay, a little course on conditional formatting. You want it? I'm doing a quick poll. You want it or not? So I think so. Let's do it. Okay, so conditional formatting, there's limitation. First, I cannot apply a conditional formatting on this, on the shape. I can't.
And that sucks. Sorry.
Okay.
Sometimes I like to have that. I would love to have conditional formatting on that.
Yeah, I cannot put that on a slide control. Yeah, I can. Yeah, slide control I can. On the I think on Polar we cannot. Let's see. No. So on Polar we cannot. So we have object like this, but most of okay. Long story short, the rule is you can add conditional formatting on any type of object where you have text. So text, of course, I can add conditional formatting. Buttons, I can add conditional formatting because you have text. So I can put conditional formatting. You can add conditional formatting on popover because, they are buttons. So you can add this, but not on the panel. Here you can't, right? On the button, but not on the panel, right? So you can add conditional formatting on object like this, but you cannot add this on object that doesn't have text. This, it's a shape. So I can, but yeah, no, I'm lying. It's a button. Yeah, I could have done it, but I have a limitation, and I'm coming from the limitation. So I'm coming now to the limitation. I have this object. Hold on. I have this object, right? And I have this one. So what's the difference? Why I cannot use conditional formatting? I could. It's working. So why? Because here I have this, the outer shadow. And this is not controllable by the conditional formatting. Here, I don't want the shadow. Here, I want the shadow. I want the shadow when it's selected. I don't want the shadow when it's not selected. So this is not controllable for conditional formatting. So bye-bye conditional formatting. I'm not using conditional formatting for this type of things because here, conditional formatting, you cannot act on the border, right? On this. You have no control on borders. You have no control on pretty much conditional formatting. You have no control on something else that background, right? And text. So background, text, and icon. So I'm not using conditional formatting for this type of work. I'm using conditional formatting most of the time when I need the text or icons, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, here, if I want to use the conditional formatting, if I want to change the background of this, based on, like contains.
Well, that's the status, isn't it?
Yeah, contain front, for example. I want the color to be, like this.
Right.
And if it contains back, for example, right? I want the color to be like this, for example. So using for this type of usage, yeah, I use it because it's relevant, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not using for buttons that I have action. I don't, right? So I prefer to hide. And originally, in some of my design, I have a different scripts on each buttons here. I have a different script on the active button and inactive button. So I need two buttons, so I hide it. But no, but okay. The other difference with the conditional formatting and the hidden state, I'm going to show you. Right? Let's say I want to change the color on this. Let's say I want to change the color. I don't know. Let's copy this and go to another layout. Don't want to mess up this one. Right. So let's go there and let's destroy this. Okay. Let's paste this. Let's say I want to change the color of this, right?
Mhm.
So I want to change the color using the conditional formatting. No, I want one calc to change the block. So I can group it, right? Group this, so I have one object. But now I cannot apply the conditional formatting.
Right.
I cannot apply one calc, right? That goes and change all the block. No, I need to ungroup it, select all object, and I have the conditional formatting on this, right? So, and I say, for example, the text this and the field color yellow, for example, right? But if I do this, right? Stupid FileMaker. They still have this bug. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 calculation. So imagine that you have a calc, an important calc. Yes, so I need to have 7 times the same calc. FileMaker will perform the calc 7 times. I prefer, right? Delete this, right? Delete this. Group the object, duplicate, and have this object with the color I want, right? And hiding and showing with the calc, right?
Because now there's
Understand?
one calculation instead of 7.
Exactly. Right? So it's my preference. Do whatever you want. It's your choice, right? Both has cons and pros, right? Both. Because the cons is, I have 2 times the same fields. Yeah, that's the cons, right? But I have many odd difference. For example, most of the time I'm not using conditional when I need to deal with the borders, and I want things to be clean, right? So like for example, if I go to that layout here, if you want to apply conditional formatting on this type of objects, it's not possible with the conditional formatting to deal with the borders. So it will look weird. You will have a blue borders and a white and a red background. And dealing with it's not good, right? It's complicated. It's better to have 2 versions of the same button, and one is red, one is blue.
Then you can just set them the way you want and then turn them on or off depending on what you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's but conditional formatting, you cannot. You can apply a hidden condition to a group of objects, but you cannot apply to a group of objects one conditional calculation. It has to be on all the objects.
Yep.
Understand?
By the way, just a comment, we don't need to do anything with it. But yesterday, David Angel was asking when we put the green check marks in there for valid, he was wondering if it would be better to just change the colors on the sides there to indicate whether it was valid or not. And again, personal preference type of thing. But
it doesn't give you an indication of what it is. It doesn't give you something. It doesn't have the power. It doesn't have the power of the check mark. The check mark, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
But I guess at a glance, if I'm looking at that list, if those were all green down the left-hand side, then I would know that they're all valid. Maybe it's the checkbox could be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, but, and like I said, we don't have to fix any of this now.
No.
Kind of a visual.
And he give you something else. okay. It prevents you something else. It prevents you to use the background, to use this for something else. That's something that's more relevant, right? So in that case, okay, no, look, it's great. It's great. You have to make sure you give to the people the right message. No, it's important. It's nice because we do design, which is my expertise.
Right.
If I do this, so let's do it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So let's I'm all for it. Let's get this out, put here, and let's use the conditional formatting here based on the tag, right? So I'm going there and I'm saying, okay, TO5A, and I'm going to take the tag valid, So if the tag is valid, I want that button to be, so the text I want is valid, is green.
Right.
But in that case, if it's not valid, it needs to be red. In that case, you give people indication.
Right.
You give all the puzzles. You give all the story. Immediately, you will have something you understand that red is not valid, green is valid, red is not valid. So you need to give all the message. You can use first. You need to use the right. You need to use the right color, the right message. Green, good. Red, not good.
Right.
Right. Okay. If I had left the default color blue, the message is incomplete.
Understand. I agree. I understand that. Yes.
You understand?
Yep, I do.
So this is incomplete.
Right.
Blue doesn't mean invalid.
Right. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So blue, it means nothing. Blue blue means cold, but it doesn't mean invalid. This means wrong, bad, something wrong, something not good. So what could it be not good here? Oh, it's invalid. Right?
Yeah.
So here is valid. So if you want to use this, we can use this. Right?
Sure.
I like it. So I'm all for it, right? But when you want to use a design technique, right? You need to send all the message, right? Like for example, here, when I said, oh, I don't need to put the date here. Just expiration is enough. Just expiration is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What this is?
Because there is a date. That is a date.
Okay, so we don't need to put date. That's okay.
Right.
We know.
Yeah, because it's there. We know what it is.
We know what it is. It's like I don't see. My arrow here. I don't have the word mouse next to it. Right. I know. I know. It's okay. Don't put mouse there. Right. So that's the same thing. Right. Like valid, invalid. What could it be? A status, what we don't care. We don't need a label, right? Right? We don't need a label. And all the wording you use, all the colors you use, everything needs to be straightforward and simple to understand. I am in documents, right? So this is a type of document. This is a title of document. This is a date of the document. This is the expiration date of the document. And this is a document. Right. So I don't need to have, you understand? We know we are in documents because you have selected it, right? So, yeah. And here, right? So I add a file because this is what I'm doing. This button here has the action of adding a file. I'm not adding a document. Yes, I'm adding a document, but it's a file in the document. So I don't need that to say add documents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm adding an information that when you click here, we add a file that we're going to put as a document. So everything has, you need to be
From a design point, just kind of a quick question. On the
Yes.
valid invalid button bar,
Mm.
is there any reason to leave those blue when they're selected? Or is there that when valid is selected, it's green and matches the other one, and invalid?
Yeah, we can do that. We can.
From a design standpoint, what do you think from the design point?
Design standpoint, I want to avoid the Christmas tree.
Okay, so that would be too much.
Yeah, I don't put anything that doesn't have value. We added this now, right? So it's a little bit of redundant to have the button itself. Now, if I didn't have this, right, I might have, I might agree to add this button here, right? But
Colors there,
it's, it's, I don't know. It's a little bit too much for me, in my opinion, to have those colors.
Oh, and that's what I'm asking, your opinion.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe if we went back to the blue with the green check mark, then we would put the green and red on the valid invalid button bar.
Yes, we can do that. Yeah. So we can use the check mark. We can use we have many ways to use this. Right?
Yeah.
But
one or the other here, it would be overkill to do the colors in both places.
Yeah. But I will avoid the Christmas tree, which we already have a little bit now. Okay. But the goal is to get everything valid, right? So that's the goal, right? So but avoid the Christmas tree, because after that, if you have too many of those, you confuse the people. Everybody will be confused or what it is. This is a button action. So all the action are blue, 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 blue. Okay, so we keep the blue for all the buttons, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
So so it's too much. Yeah. After that, you use the color you want. I mean, green, red, we know the message.
Yeah.
Red, not good. Green, good. So keep that simple. After that, David then just say, I will use a lighter red. Okay, use the red. But for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have an invoice. Okay. You have an invoice. So this is a great example. Something I did yesterday. So I have multiple status for an invoice. Okay. I have the status, new. This is the first status I have for the invoice. Okay. I have the status new. This status will be the standard. Then, okay, I have, the in progress. I'm working on this, right? So I have in progress. I have the in progress with 2S. Okay. So I will put a yellow with the background in progress, or whatever, orange. We can use the orange. I like orange.
Whatever.
Yeah, orange is okay. Then I have this one. This one, money, right? You don't mess up with money, right? Are we okay with this? So money, I don't like it. Boom, red, unpaid. Okay.
No money.
This can be due, for example.
Sure.
For example, Let's keep it, you know. And then I have, okay, I'm good, you know. I have ped, right?
Hmm?
Which is green. No, I've sent. No, I've sent, right? Sent, I don't get the money, but it is green. And then I have ped. And this is what I use. Dark green. So you can use this. So you have new to unpaid, sent, paid with 2 greens. So you can use that technique as well, right? You understand that the paid is dark green. That means okay, right? Light green is not paid, right? So you can stay on the green, but you have two level of greens, right? Mm-hmm. And I realized that, you know, I built this, and all the people I do this, they say, okay, we like it because we can see immediately. You know?
Yeah.
Even though it is the same green, it is green, but it's not. You can see it, and
you can see the difference. Yeah,
you see the difference, right? So you can use that, you know, technique.
Well,
here.
Because we end up with, you know, your current, your expiring, you're expired, or you're not valid. So you've got 5 there, and I basically have 4 conditions on each of those.
Yeah.
So we can use the same color scheme that way.
Yeah, we can use that. Yeah, on this here for the, and we can use.
It could be the. I mean, it could be for each document for that matter.
Yeah.
Or we could put it. You're right. We could put them on the. Yeah. So don't lose those.
Yeah, so this is things that you can use, and the color, you know, that's why I like this side status, because it allows you to put the status along with your color without be crashing.
Yeah.
Right.
You
don't want the word background to change color. You know, that's too much, right? That's too much, right? And you know where it belongs, right? And so you have the status, and you have or whatever you want to put there, and you have the color with it, and it's on the side, so it's not, you know, it's not killing the design, it's not crushing, right? The what you see.
Yeah, kind of like my original pilot layout.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't looked at it. If you want to, I mean, that had all kinds of colors on big buttons.
Yeah. So to finish this today is about the sliding effect. Those are main slide. This is a main one, you know, main.
Right.
I want the effect. I want to know, I'll switch from one world to the another one.
To the next.
Okay. But here, I don't want that to happen. I don't want the slide.
Right.
I don't want the slide to happen here. Right?
Right.
It's too much. Here, makes sense. Here, no, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because you're kind of changing subjects, if you will, at the top, but not on the bottom.
And it's a vertical clicking, and we have a horizontal sliding.
Yeah.
So here I'm clicking like this. Right, left, right, left, you know, right, left, right, left, right, left, like this. Okay. So tomorrow is another day.
It is?
Yeah.
So let me.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. So thank you, everybody. So talk to you tomorrow.
have an individual up here who maybe a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.